I said, what? It's Jabba the Hutt. Greetings, fellow armchair Imagineers.
And Pi.
And welcome to the Project 3 recap of Sorcerer's Apprentice Season 5 Endgame. Oh,
Woo.
God. You like that, Pi?
That's the best way to open a video I've ever heard.
I was just like, before I was like waiting for you to come on, I was like, let's see, what can I say at the top of the video that would just get people's attention? I was like, let's see.
You got my attention.
All right. Okay, so Pi, we are laying out Project 3 of the Sorcerer's Apprentice Endgame. Just to remind people, literally going to do this every podcast, Pi, just so people aren't confused. The hosts of this competition here, you know, our dear friends D. Hindley, KMB, and Ace Astro, doing a marvelous job, by the way. They're doing awesome work. I'm honestly a little envious in a good way of how good of a job they're doing. I'm like, oh man, this is like above and beyond anything I've ever done with So You Want to Be an Imagineer. Dragon, damn it, Pi. I'm sorry, I'm just freaking. You work with someone for like 6-7 years. Anyway,
it's okay, I understand. Also, hi, I believe that's Pergran for Behind the Magic, who says this stanza should be subtitled Chaos.
Yes,
and hey, Nate.
Yeah, well, I mean, let's just get right into it, Pi. Wow, this is honestly one of my favorite projects that I've seen from any competition in a while. Just in terms of like how it broke down, and just I don't know, man. I'm loving the narrative. You know me, Pi. I'm a narrative guy. I'm a storyteller with the great Jonathan Penner. And I'm really into this season from that point of view, because I feel like it's just kind of like this horse race at this point where, you know, Team Princes, they're filled with the with a lot of veteran players like you in Space, and they have the presentation element down. But Pi, as we're going to get into here, like this is going. I honestly feel like this is a hot off the presses interview, Pi. This is like we probably should have even hyped this up more than we did on the boards. Like, hey, this is like the Fire Fest of Sorcerer's Apprentice. You know, like you want the inside. This is Pi. You are Billy McFarland right now.
I know what half of those references were, so I'm on top of things.
All right.
This scene was, I think Pergram put it best when he just said chaos, because it was a fun brainstorming process.
All right. I'm just gonna lay it out there. You guys had an interesting project. Like honestly, I haven't gotten a chance to read the brainstorming yet, Pi, but I just assume since I had you on, it'd probably come straight from the horse's mouth anyways, and what you can contribute to this podcast is more than I could just reading the brainstorming, because you actually lived it. And so all this is going to be kind of like, Pi, I'm kind of relying on you here. You're going to be a storyteller in your own right, because I really want you to just spin the drama of this thing, man. But Pi, I can tell you right off the bat, and like I said, I have no idea if this is true. I haven't really looked at the reviews. I haven't really looked at the the brainstorming. I'm just going on to these podcasts mostly just to talk about the projects themselves and their finished state. I honestly think you guys had something with Traverse Town, and then the rest of it was just like, what? Like, what? This is just, oh man.
There's some interesting history there.
I mean, this is just like wow. This is like this is like a snowball effect, man. This is wow. This is out of control, frankly.
Travis Town was kind of a controversial thing because it was like day one, something the team was like excited about, and then it went back and forth about how to do it. And then even after eventually it being similar to this final product, there was even still debate on it of, well, it doesn't seem to fit with the rest of it. So if we're not doing Travis Town's the whole thing, then maybe we just shouldn't do Travis Town. But at that point, people were already excited about Travis Town still being a part of it. There was just a lot of back and forth, and Travis Town was at the center of a lot of it.
You know, it's funny because I really didn't know that, but I kind of got a sense of that.
Yeah, what you see in the final project was just kind of a, all right, we just need to put an end to the debates, and Disney Dad just kind of said, here's the 3 to 4 sections we're doing. Have fun doing them.
Oh, man.
And
All
then
right.
it was just putting it all together.
On the opposite side of things, Pi, we have Team Warriors, and Team Warriors is made up of a lot of the newer players. And like, I honestly think that I kind of like the Knott's Berry Farm style project a little bit more than your guys' project on a personal level, even though I can acknowledge the all the innovation you guys put into the presentation side of things. What can I say? Knott's just got to me.
Understandable, and that was a very close round.
This is honestly, Pi, completely unbiased because I like the only thing that I have like a slight bias towards is that this reminds me of the World Showcase, and I love the World Showcase. But this might be my favorite downtown Disney style project that I've ever seen in any of these competitions.
It's pretty fantastic what they were able to come up with. I mean, there's
it's
like one or two like minor nitpicky things, and it might be a bit safe of an idea in some ways, but overall, just from the presentation to the way it's presented, it's fantastic.
Yeah, here's the thing. It's streamlined. It's to the point. You don't feel like you're reading too much. Hint, hint for Team Princes. Hint, hint.
Yeah.
That aquarium section was never going to end.
That
Go ahead.
I was gonna say, yeah, we definitely have an issue of everything each of us doing kind of winding up to being a passion project. And when every aspect's a passion project, then everything's a long section.
Yeah, so that's the thing, Pi. I think that Team Warriors, like, honestly, this is like, it's like the sweet spot, man. This is like the absolute, like, I love this length. This is like the perfect, it's like, when you see a movie and you're just like, okay, that ended exactly when it should have. Like, that movie should not have gone on for a second longer and it stuck the landing. That's sort of how I feel about this project.
Yeah, they did a really good job with it.
All right, so I'm glowing. So far, Pi, I'm gonna go out on a limb and say it's my favorite project of the season so far.
It's pretty fantastic. It's tough to compare them considering how different. Sorry about that. How different a lot of the projects have been, but it's definitely up there as one of the better ones this season.
Yeah, I'm glowing. I'm really excited to talk about it. But before we get into that, Pi, I do feel like the headline here, the presses, like Team Princes. Can you just spin us a yarn, Pi? I want to know. This is your chance. I'm going to give the floor to you, and I'm sure a lot of people are waiting to hear it. Like, I really just, I'm fascinated by how this all came about.
So we had a lot of issues with communication, and it was also tough to start out with because in real life, a lot of us had a lot of stressful things going on with like school and work, more stress in our regular life than was usual. And you could see, especially in the early parts of this round, how that was coming out and being more of a factor with a lot of us being a bit more on edge. making discussion, which has always been something we've had a bit of a problem with already, but going even worse. And we started off almost like day one unanimously. Traverse Town was, I think, the first idea thrown out there. And almost unanimously, immediately, we was like, oh, that would work really well. Then we were like, well, we don't want to just go with our first idea without discussing a few more things. Which I think I was the person who said that, and that might be, looking back, the fatal mistake that ruined everything.
You guys had it. You had it. You literally, like, it was right in the palm of your hands. Traverse Town would have been perfect, in my opinion. Oh, man.
We did have some, when we start discussing more themes and discussing more of Traverse Town, there was a lot of second guessing still, in which second guessing was a big theme of this round too for us, of getting excited about something and then the next morning really second guessing it and trying to be like, hang on, maybe this isn't gonna work. Which was another big factor in it. But there was some second guessing that might be too niche of a thing with the Kingdom Hearts style, or that third-party stores may not fit in as well there as they could in other places, which you wind up really being light on third-party stores already, so that really wouldn't have changed much from a final product. But some other ideas we discussed, and it was also part of what the issue was, is combining the discussion of the layout and location with the discussion of the theme. And there was a lot times where it would be like, well, here's my proposal, and people would be like, well, I don't like the layout of it, or I don't like the theme of it, and then it would be the whole thing being second guessed instead of just one aspect.
Right.
Like Pogron said, there was.
I'm sorry. I've sort of situations where it's just like, okay, like we really like there are a lot of good ideas thrown out there, and that they could be ironed out if you actually like got to work on one. But the problem is, it's just we're not coming to a cohesive decision. It's like the decision-making process is just all out of whack. And oh, Pi, I can tell you that those are rough rounds, man. Those are ones where it's like trench warfare.
Yeah, it was getting more heated than I had personally seen in a brainstorming thread, or at least been involved in. And that was definitely partly my bad. And but a lot of us were getting more passionate about this than perhaps was needed. And like Pergron saying here, there was second, third, fourth, fifth, 18th. There was a lot of extra guessing on ideals. But we had a lot of interesting ideas that we just wound up not pursuing. Like, or second guessing for various reasons. Like, one I know you would really like was to do sort of a Disney-fied version of Harbor Boulevard type thing. And it would have connected as a walkway from the back of the real-life Disney Sea expansion to the Tokyo Disneyland entrance, taking out a lot of that parking area to a place with like a parking garage or something, and have like Captain Jack's Pirate Buffet instead of Captain Kidd's, or things like that. With the idea being that it would be through with a real road going through it, so you would actually see it as you drove into the park. But then the concerns about practicality.
If the idea was to please Tiki on the podcast, you guys would have gotten a gold star. But I don't know how that would have over with the judges.
It would have been an interesting idea, but the real road aspect of it was thought that that would mess with crowd flow. But instead of keeping with the idea, but doing maybe like an artificial road, it was just scrapped. And that was kind of a pattern with a lot of ideas that we had, is we would start on an idea, but one aspect wouldn't be good. So it'd be like, well, hang on, let's get back to the drawing.
That to me is just frustrating, because the whole idea of doing a Disney-fied Harbor Boulevard is that you don't need the real road. It's like, why do we need to work in the semantic, like I get that it would be a fun gimmick to see it as you're driving in. I get that, but why? Like, it's still a really good theme, though.
Yes, it was one that I was excited about too, and if we had had better communication and it had been a better week for the team in general, just in our lives, I think that's one of the ideas we might have developed more, or developed Travis Town on its own more. Or another idea was to commit more fully to each section being an immersive Disney environment, like San Francisco, part of a Hawaiian island theme to Stitch, and do it as that being the different districts, but set the theme up to be more like that. Or one was like a mini world showcase market where each district of the shopping area would have been a different country, with like a airport theme for the entrance area. There was a lot of different discussions going on, and it eventually just got to be the point where it was getting too intense and too heated between things. And like I said, Disney Dad just stepped in and was like, okay, here's what we're doing. And Space Mountain got us to come together with the motto of this is going to be a hashtag YOLO round. And we're just going to have fun with these ideals. And that's kind of what the final product is you have people having fun with Travis Town. You have I had a lot of fun learning how to use a paint program, something I had never done really before. Like Pogron says, if we hadn't done this chaotic theme, someone may have killed someone else. It would have been difficult over a forum to do that, but you know what? Not quite to that point, but there was some concerning moments. But yeah, though even in the final product, there was lapses in communication, like or just things missed. Like I do a Broadway style theater in the Pixar Pier type area, which was originally when I had done the painting thing was going to be a movie theater, and that was going to be our main movie theater because Evil Gidget was having trouble fitting that into the layout of Travis Town. What I didn't realize is that between the time he had said that and the time I had made the painting, he had found a way to fit that in and included the movie theater. So I switched it when I did the write-up to that theater being a Broadway-style theater. But I didn't notice that in his write-up, it was only a 6-theater movie theater, not like a full one.
Right.
And so there was a lot of moments of this back and forth and just things not communicating well between us, even just little things leading into the final product. But I do think that even with how muddled the final product got, there's a lot of real highlight moments and a lot of things that, if given more time to develop, could have been really amazing. And there's a lot of passion in it, despite how crazy the week was leading up to the project. There's a lot that we wound up being actually really proud of. And I think a lot of it, while the whole did not come together, there's still a lot that I think did come together pretty good.
I mean, I think the big problem here is that, like, any one of the sub-districts could have been its own project. Like, that's the problem in a nutshell, you know?
Yes, it was just too scattered.
All right, so I guess we'll just go through the individual districts then, Pi, and you can kind of. Oh, one more thing, Pi. Where did because this is like obviously the big highlight of your project. Where did the trip report idea come from?
That one, I believe, was Space Mountain. I can't say with full certainty, but I believe that was his idea of a presentation that can kind of hide some of the chaotic and somewhat half-baked natures of part of this. Because, well, if there's shops that should be there that we aren't mentioning, it's just because on our trip report we weren't interested in them. And things like that. It was a really smart idea he came up with. Yeah, that was Space. Pogron's confirming that one.
Okay. Cool. All right. Great. So, yeah, let's also Pi. Crap, I forgot that we have an hour and a half quote on these, right?
Have a what?
An hour and a half quota. Like, we don't want to go over an hour and a half.
Right.
So yeah, let's just keep that in mind. All right. I mean, we can go under an hour and a half. Like it doesn't have to be exactly like 1 hour 30 minutes. But all right.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Housekeeping.
Sorry if I
Anyways.
rambled a bit too long there.
No. By all means, by all means. I wanted the scoop. You delivered. It's fine. All right. So Disney's Animation Kingdom. So how did that name come about?
Honestly, as a placeholder from an earlier version of the project,
Oh
but
dear.
we back when it was going to be the like series of immersive worlds rather than what it wound up being. It was going to be like, oh, we have this vague studio theme at the entrance, and then you have Travis Town, San Francisco, Stitch. So it made sense to be named Animation Kingdom, but doesn't quite fit the final theme. But yeah, that was just a placeholder by I want to say Disney Dad put on a list of things we need to write. And I think that Tiki may have had to go silent for a minute or two. So I am going to keep talking. Hello, everyone. Yeah, like I said, we went through a lot of different versions in the making of this, and the Animation Kingdom name was just kind of a placeholder that kind of stuck. Like it wasn't necessarily something we ever really discussed. Which, in retrospect, the name is something that should be discussed. It's not the most important aspect of a project, but it is something that can help tie things together and help it feel more complete, especially in our case where it just kind of didn't feel as complete. I also like the Space did a lot of work. One of the main things he did was getting things up in the trip report style. Like Kingdom Hearts, the Travis Town section was actually written before we decided on the trip report style. And if I'm wrong about being Space, sorry about that, but he rewrote it in the trip report style. He did a lot of intro and like framing device posts. He did a lot of work in making it the trip report format that you see here. And between him and Disney Dad did a lot of the art, like what you can see on the screen now with the fake posters and the fake train station. There was a lot of good elements at play here, and a lot of things that really tied this presentation together. It's a type of presentation style that I wouldn't mind either seeing someone else do or being a part of doing again on a more fully fleshed out project. But like I said, as I am filling time until Tiki gets back from whatever he had to go run and take care of, unless, of course, you can hear him and not me, and I'm just rambling. But yeah, like here's actually another example of miscommunication or something sort of poorly communicated. Is this picture right here was the idea of the air balloon looking like it was sitting on top of the mountain. And I think this is more a miscommunication with the write-up communicating the idea, but of the hot air balloon, the basket wasn't supposed to be the house. The house was on the ground. It was just going to be like a hot air balloon basket. But I think this is more of something that just didn't come across fully clear in the write-up, that the idea was that it looks like the balloons itself were resting on the mountain, not like the house with the balloons. Though that could have been a miscommunication between me and Space when we were writing, because like I said, there was a lot of communication issues this round. But yeah, despite the shaky nature of this project and the brainstorming, there was a lot of passion involved in it. Like the Marine Life Institute, especially, I know was a big passion project for Pogron, who, if I'm not mistaken, has walked in aquariums and those kinds of spaces in the past. So he was able to bring a lot of real first-hand knowledge, and it's really realistically done and fully thought out. Could have practically been the project in and of itself. It was something he did a really great job with. And even though the project as a whole didn't fully come together, that one aspect especially really is a standout, as well as a lot of Travis Town, which that one was done by Evil Gidget and Disney Man 1. I think it was mostly Evil Gidget. I don't know. I know Disney Man 1 was pretty busy this week, so I don't know how actively involved in the writing he was. Tiki?
Yeah. I'm here. Sorry.
Hey, no worries.
Hey.
Things happen.
Folks, if you hear someone like kind of shrieking in the background, it's my little brother, and he's nonverbal autistic, and he likes to express himself. So, yeah, that's what's going on. I don't want to freak anyone out. Anyways, all right.
Understandable.
I'm randomly like having trouble breathing, so I'm gonna go grab my inhaler really quick, actually, and I barely use a thing. So, let's see. I guess just my quick opinions on Traverse Town as a whole before I go do that is, this is definitely the best part of the project, and I'm still going to stand by the fact that it really is probably, by all intents and purposes, what you guys probably should have just gone with, because, you know, when you see a good idea, yeah, sure, you can discuss other options, but it's something like, if it's something that everyone on the team is on board with, I gotta tell you, Pi, that's a rare thing. Like, not every, that's a rare, like, if everyone on the team, it would have been one thing if, if certain people were like, oh, I haven't played Kingdom Hearts, I don't know, I'm not familiar with it. From what it sounds like, everyone, for the most part, liked the idea.
There was more of that second guessing that started on like day 2. Day 1, there was a lot of excitement for Travis Town. But we did have some of that second guessing before we went more into other ideals.
So, yeah, I don't know. I hate to keep harping on the same point. As someone who loves the original Kingdom Hearts, and by all intents and purposes, Pi, from the reviews I've read, I really don't. I'm not saying it's not a good game. I don't think Kingdom Hearts 3 is going to live up to my expectations.
I've been very happy with it, though I can definitely understand that there are a lot of problems, especially with the combat, why a lot of people would be complaining about it. I just like exploring the worlds, and this is the best game since Kingdom Hearts 1 for exploring the worlds and having fun in these environments.
Sure.
It almost feels like combat, other than the boss fights, is an afterthought in this game. But while combat's never been my favorite part of Kingdom Hearts, I've been okay with that.
All right. Anyways, I don't want to turn this into a Kingdom Hearts conversation, but I have vivid memories of Traverse Town from my youth, man. Like, let's see, when did that first game come out? Like, let's age Tiki here, folks. Let's age.
I want to say it was 2001.
That's what I want to say too. So I was like 10. I want to say by the time, because I didn't get a PS2 right in 2001. 2001. I was still rocking my N64, but I want to say around 2003 that I first played Kingdom Hearts. Like, Kingdom Hearts was the reason I bought a PS2, and so yeah, I've been like, I don't know, just. Let's see, that's what, like 16 years that Kingdom Hearts has been a part of my life at this point.
Yeah, it's been a big part of a lot of people's lives, which is it's really touched a lot of people and had a lot of fans throughout the years.
So my point being with this whole nostalgic tangent here, Pi, is Traverse Town to me almost has a similar nostalgic quality where you know every nook and cranny of it. as something like Princess Peach's Castle does in Mario 64. Just on a different, it's like, to me, it's like that equivalent on the PS2.
It's pretty close to that for me too, which was actually a concern that was expressed about it being the whole project, is that it might be too iconic and well known that we won't be able to change it as much to fit our needs. That if it's not like a Diagon Alley bit by bit reconstruction,
I mean,
it
that's
would
the point.
get a lot of issues.
Cars Land isn't cited as the best land that Disney's ever created because it's not a brick by brick recreation.
Yeah.
And here's an interesting thing. Let's kind of turn this like this is like a side tangent that I actually think is worth going into.
Okay.
State of Imagineering now, when you look at it, like I honestly don't know if we're like, at least stateside. I know the foreign parks are doing interesting stuff, but at least stateside, Pie, I don't foresee in any sort of future, like at least the next 10 years or so, any major expansions to a Disney park that don't take on that same sort of like, brick by brick recreation of an area already established in the film, or at the very least centered around an IP the same way Marvel Land's going to be at DCA.
True. That is a good point.
Like that, it scares me. It's because honestly, it's like a whole new, like, it impresses me to some degree. On some level, these lands are more immersive. Like, Pandora really is a trip to walk through, and Cars Land, I think Cars Land is slightly better than Pandora just because I feel like it's more like Pandora just feels like it's sort of tucked away into this corner of the park, and Cars Land feels like it is sort of like this nice sort of like alternate hub to the park where there's like different ways to get in and out of it. And I just feel like the walkways flow better into Cars Land at DCA than they do at Pandora. But and then of course, Pi, Galaxy's Edge is going to be, you want to talk about walkway flow.
That's gonna be a nightmare.
Galaxy's
It's gonna
Edge,
be amazing. That's gonna be a nightmare.
it's going to be Firefest for Disney. Firefest for Disney is happening. I'm calling it right now.
I'm really gonna need to look up what Firefest is.
Yes, you do. Wait, so you knew who Billy McFarland was in the half the references thing? What was the half of the references you got when
I had heard of Firefest and that there was documentaries being made about it, but that was about the extent of my knowledge.
Okay,
is that it was a thing.
Just to explain it for you, Pi, just on layman's terms, it's really very simple. Firefest was this big music festival happening on a private island in the Bahamas, and it was set up by this media mogul named Billy McFarland and also Ja Rule. Remember Ja Rule?
I don't.
You don't know Ja Rule? You don't remember the I don't even know what movie. You don't remember? He was like, I believe he was the first villain in the Fast and the Furious franchise. All right. Anyways,
it sounds familiar.
I'm not going to torture you anymore with Ja Rule. Ja Rule's kind of become a meme on the channel as of late with Dragon and I. But so Ja Rule.
I'll look up some info.
Yeah. Anyways, my point being, Firefest was a music festival that just went horribly, horribly, horribly wrong. Like, it was totally misplanned. Like, thousands of people showed up for a venue that could have maybe held like 300 at the most. There was like tents scattered everywhere, and people were like ransacking other people's tents and looting. And all these people, the hilarious thing about it is that all these people were like freaking super rich millennials with mommy and daddy's money to burn. And they were just going to this because it sounded elite, right? Like, it sounded like a once-in-a-lifetime event. And so that's what opening day of Galaxy's Edge is going to be like for Disney fans.
I would not be surprised if looting broke out in Disneyland when Galaxy's Edge opens. Not like heavy looting, but like a window in New Orleans Square broken. Just one.
Right. That's oddly specific, but I like that. Oh
But
man.
back to Travis Town.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it turned out really well. I think that Evil Gidget and Disney Man 1 did a great job with it. Only complaint that we got from reviewers and looking back at it is that it's a bit too much like a theme park land with not as much emphasis on it how it works as a shopping district, because like it doesn't have any of the third party stores. A lot of the write up focuses in on the things like the simulator and the interactive elements and the walkthroughs and things like that. That a bit more focused, considering what the project was, on the shopping and dining and how it integrates the third party stores, which is a problem throughout the whole project. But that being said, what is here is amazing. And while it might have focused a bit too much on the entertainment options, they're great entertainment options. And
Yeah.
I'd really love, as a Kingdom Hearts fan, to see this.
Pi, you messed up. You messed up. You know why?
Why?
The ice cream is sold in Twilight Town, not Traverse Town.
Wait, so what is it?
The salty sweet ice cream?
Yes, the sea salt ice cream. I feel like that's an acceptable thing to say that it's everywhere in the Kingdom Hearts universe at this point. I mean,
accurate to the
if it was
not gonna accept it.
Yes, but if it was in both Hollow Bastion and Twilight Town, that's already 2 worlds the characters travel. I don't think it's outside. I know.
All right. Did Scrooge McDuck really invent salty sweet ice cream? I that's a detail I do not remember.
That was in Kingdom Hearts 2. Like, I don't know if he's like the first person to ever invent it or anything like that.
Figured it was one of the weird
side
games.
One of the Kingdom Hearts 2 subplots is helping him recreate his favorite ice cream that he had found once or something like that. So like he didn't create the whole thing, but he definitely was involved in bringing it to the modern Kingdom Hearts universe.
He branded it, baby. Franchise.
Exactly. That's what Scrooge McDuck does. That's how you make the big bucks.
All right. Yeah, there is a lot here, Pi, and that's the thing. You know, it's just like I don't even know where. Like, we can't go into all this stuff.
Yes, there's a lot. And I think every one of us wrote more than we needed to in our sections.
I got to admit, I'm not big on the keyblades, and honestly, that's something where I feel like if this was in a theme park, it would totally work. But since it's not in a theme park, it would be sort of like I don't know. Just I feel like there's a disconnect there with it not being in a theme park.
I can see that. I could see, in theory, it working well in the shopping district. Though as much as I love Keyblades, I feel like with how packed shopping districts and stores can get, that could get dangerous.
Yeah,
trying to swing your Keyblade to trigger an interactive element as people are walking by.
Right. And I feel like that I feel like in a shopping district, it would be good as like a Pokemon Go style thing that you do on your phone. You know what I mean? But
yes, or maybe just to create your own Keyblade, but you're not having things to make you swing them around in the shopping area.
Right. And I just feel like the whole idea of like a shopping area where everyone's got these giant keys and swinging them around. Like I said, I feel like the atmosphere for some reason just is more acceptable in a theme park, because in a theme park, everyone's sort of like in on it to a degree. You know what I mean? Like everyone like you walk around Harry Potter land, you see someone waving a wand in a window. You know what they're doing. You know what's up. It's just kind of like almost a universal unspoken language at theme parks. Even if you know nothing about Harry Potter, even if you haven't researched the land at all, just the way it plays out in the context of the parks, just it's got a flow to it, especially when it's something as well designed as Wizarding World of Harry Potter is. And so that's just something that atmosphere, right? That whole like kind of giving into the suspension of disbelief, and you're in a fantasy land now. That is what can't be translated into a shopping and dining district.
I can see where you're coming from there. I think there could be a way to do it, especially since this shopping district is much more theme park-like than a traditional Springs type area. But, that speaks to part of the issues with it, though, is that we didn't do enough to make it feel like a shopping district. And things like that, while they fit in Oz ones, you're right, they would be tough to fit into the feel of like a Springs type place.
All right, so Bella Notte Pie, I gotta say, I highlighted this. Oh, I feel bad for whoever came up with this, but it might be one of the most pointless things in the project.
Why? What makes you say that?
Because it's like it just calls to mind Tony's Town Square, which is not good. And B, is Lady and the Tramp even remotely involved with Traverse Town in the games?
Yeah, there's the fountain in the third district. They're one of the few Disney characters that are actually represented in there.
Okay, it's been a while, Pi. Man, I do not remember a Lady and the Tramp statue.
Yeah, I mean, it's not exactly like what you see pictured here, but in the third district where you fight the guard armor, there is a fountain with the Lady and the Tramp in it.
Huh. I remember the fountain. I just never connected it to Lady and the Tramp. I feel like this is a Mandela effect territory here now.
It's easier to see if you ever played the HD version than it was in the original.
That boss battle, I distinctly remember that. But yeah, I never made out that it was supposed to be Lady and the Tramp, though.
Yeah, I would assume at least that's where the idea for this one came from, especially since the fountain is highlighted in the picture.
Sure. All right. Anyways, so I don't know, but what about Tony's Town Square? It's like when I think Tony's Town Square might be the Captain Kids of the Magic Kingdom.
I've actually only eaten there once, and what I have learned is that I was apparently there on a good day, because I've heard nothing but bad things from everyone else. But I only ate there like one time. It was like my sister's birthday, and it was like, oh yeah, that was some really yummy Italian food. A bit Olive Garden-y, not like actual Italian food, but it was pretty good. And then I've heard nothing but bad things. I'm gonna avoid ever going back.
It's literally a meme in the Disney dining community, Pi. It's literally a meme.
Which is good to know. I know not to give the second chance.
You know what's the most heartbreaking one, though, that's almost on the same level as Tony's Town Square?
What?
The San Angel Inn.
Yeah, it's good for quick. It's decent enough, but it's not the best place.
I mean,
Background says he ate at the Tony's Town Square in December and describes it as an Olive Garden level restaurant, and to take that as you will.
Honestly, if given the choice between Tony's Town Square and San Angel Inn, in spite of San Angel Inn having a way cooler location, I'd probably go Tony's Town Square just because I am a fan of Italian food, and why not roll the dice? Whereas my knowledge of Mexican food mostly comes to let's see. Hold on, I've got a list here. Margaritas, definitely margaritas. Learned that a couple times. Let's see. Carne asada tacos. Oh, nothing else on this list.
I had a quesadilla for dinner, but I added lemon pepper seasonings. I don't know if it counts as even vaguely Mexican food at that point. It was delicious, though.
I mean, the thing is, I'm not a bean guy, Pie, and that's what puts me off to a lot of Mexican food.
That's my problem, too.
Yeah,
It's like I love the seasonings, and if I get something that doesn't have the beans or anything like that, I usually love it. But most of the big dishes tend to have beans or refried beans, and it's just not something I'm a big fan of.
All right. Anything else to say about Traverse Town?
No, I think that we are good.
All right. So this little Mary Poppins alley is probably it's the perfect length. And again,
Yes.
team princes, I'm talking to you guys directly. This is something that I feel like is becoming a pattern here. Less is sometimes more.
Yes, and that's definitely something we've been discussing for the next round as an issue we've noticed with ourselves too.
So what I like about Poppins in the Park is it's very simple. It's like a nice transitional area, and it's just like it doesn't really take a lot to explain it. You know what I mean? It's just like I love the idea of the night effects. That's really nice.
It's just a nice little garden area with a few small elements to it.
Yeah, yeah. It reminds me of something that So You Want to Be an Imagineer legend Snoopy would have done. Season 10 winner Snoopy.
There you go. He's someone I never actually got to really work with, but I've always heard good things.
Yeah, he's only competed in like maybe 4 or 5 games total in his career. But I mean, every time he plays, he brings something to it, and I think his claim to fame, I think the thing that he's really known for, just to give Snoopy a plug here, because I've known Snoopy longer than anyone else on the internet. Like, I kid you not, by a pretty considerable margin, because I was talking to him on Disney fan forums in like 2002, 2003, my friend.
Wow. Nice.
Me and Snoopy are way back. I mean, that almost feels crazy saying that out loud now. That feels like so ago. Anyways, no, but Snoopy's claim to fame is he does small scale projects, but he puts his all into them. And that's what won him season 10, and that's what makes him a great player. So yeah, I definitely think there's something to attribute to that. It's a big part of why he's one of my favorite winners in the So You Want to Be an Imagineer canon. You know, and that honestly has nothing to do with just the bias that I'm personal friends with him. It's just I love that style of gameplay. I love, not being the big dominant force in the room that's going to write up these 20-page write-ups of everything. I really like someone who can just like hone their talents and really use them.
Yeah,
Right,
being
anyway,
able to say a lot with less is a real talent.
Yeah. All right, Mickey Avenue.
Yes, this one I did the actual writing on it, but it is mostly based on ideals that came from Disney Dad and Brea Oswald, and a little bit some things that Space had suggested earlier on, not directly for this, that I just integrated in. With the idea of it being kind of like a old Hollywood LA type thing, so like being on a Vista Street or Sunset Boulevard, except for a lot of the buildings either animation references or ran by cartoons. So like the downtown city area with more realistic architecture to complement the Toontown inside the park, being the more cartoony and the more residential. But like the color changing effects of it, so like a large scale version of the animator's palette came from Disney Dad. A few of the stores and shops came from Brea Oswald, and the idea of the like old Hollywood setting came a lot from Space. And I just kind of tossed them all together.
Yeah, I mean, I think the problem with this is like it's much like Traverse Town, almost on a bigger scale, because I feel like there's a lot of potential here but it doesn't feel completely baked, you know. And obviously, knowing what we know about the brainstorming, it wasn't, you know, it was just. And I
Yeah.
get to be repetitive here, but it's just what I like about it, what I dig about it, is that it's almost like a Toontown if they actually designed a Toontown that was more akin to the Toontown that we actually see in Roger Rabbit instead of
Yes.
these neighborhood Toontown.
It's more of a downtown and more trying to go for realistic architecture version of the classic Toontown in the parks, and which is what you usually see when you see Toontown in cartoons and stuff.
Right. So I really did like that. So Pi, allow me to I need to get up on my beat. This is another quick tangent, all right? It'll take just 1 minute. I need to do an in memoriam here. So
Okay.
Lounge, it sounds like a really nice jazz club. It's like an underground cavernous style jazz club. Oh, Pi, do you remember for like 6 months or so, or however long it is, I had the avatar that said it was like the neon sign that said the Big Easy.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, that was a jazz club in Petaluma that I inhabited almost every weekend, and it was fucking great, man. I mean, the food wasn't too good, and they didn't serve cocktails, and I love cocktails, but just the atmosphere of it all, and the live music, and you never knew what you were gonna get, and probably that place closed.
Oh, that's a
Yeah,
shame.
yeah. Like the neon sign is down. When I saw the neon sign, like because at first I was like, oh, they might be able to come back. You know, they'll just have to file some paperwork. Well, we'll do this, guys. We can do it. And then when I saw that neon Big Easy sign come down, I was like, oh, it's over. It's over. That like that place
Yeah.
is probably converted into like a freaking like antique store or fitness center, like every other place in downtown Petaluma. Excuse my rant. Anyways, all right. Oh boy. All right. So I got to admit, Pi, Clarabelle's Ice Cream Parlor, Daisy's Diner. Where have I heard those
It,
names before?
it's a lot of the surface level stuff. And looking back, this was one of the last things that was written, and I definitely just kind of borrowed some really basic ideals for the Disney stores. Because I just thought I just need to write a couple out here, and I'll be fine. But
Yeah,
yeah, I could have gone more unique with them.
the trolleys were a neat idea in theory. I just, unlike the obvious inspiration, which was the Hogwarts Express, I just don't think it has any sort of thematic heft to it. It's like people literally buy park hoppers just to do the Hogwarts Express. You know, it's a huge part of the Harry Potter experience at Universal Orlando, and I don't think that there's that sort of gravitas. It's just kind of like, okay, gonna catch this cartoon trolley into the park. All right. Whereas
Yeah,
with the Hogwarts Express, it's like you literally like you go through that whole giant queue, and it literally looks like a train terminal, and you do the platform 9 3/4 thing, and it's just a whole experience. And I'm not saying this had to be something like the Hogwarts Express. I'm just saying the whole like cool theme transportation between parks is it's very obviously kind of inspired by Hogwarts Express, and I think they kind of missed the mark of what makes Hogwarts Express so great to begin with.
yeah, that was one that blame can fall squarely on me because I definitely took some inspiration from Hogwarts Express, but I meant it to be like, well, let's have a way that you can get from our area to into the park, and just a little trolley that goes through a covered area. And that was me thinking, well, I can give it some screens to make it more exciting of a drive, so like they do in Hogwarts Express. But I kind of made it fall into a middle ground where it's too much to be just transportation, but not enough to be an attraction.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
it just kind of fell into a weird middle ground where it should have been either less or way more.
I mean, honestly, probably the idea of having a transportation into the park is fine. You know, it makes sense. but I just feel like the theme was just a little too overbearing. I honestly think if you guys would have just done people movers into both parks, mwah, like a chef, like kissing his fingers, mwah, that's like, it would have been the perfect spice to the project.
Which was something that was thrown out at early stage in development, was to have a people mover go around with stops in the parks and in the shopping district. But like a lot of things, was second guessed and not fully developed, and then didn't make it into any final products.
I mean, let's face it, Pi, is there ever an armchair Imagineering competition where the people mover doesn't get brought up?
Yeah, exactly.
All right. Okay, so, oh man. Oh, space is going to kill me for this. Uh, Pi, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Space. I really don't like the friendship boardwalk. I really don't like it. I'm so sorry because it seems like something that he had passion for, but oh man, I mean, my problems are twofold for it. I mean, one, it's very obvious. Like, okay, guys, we need something. Let's see, Pixar Pier. That's something that's new and popular right now. New, yes, popular, and let's go with it. And all right, at the end of the day, I'm just going to kind of visually demonstrate here. And I know I've kind of hammered in this point before, but for an aquarium, right? For an aquarium, I just feel like there's way too much going on here. Like this should have been like maybe 3 paragraphs. And I know that Space was ambitious about the aquarium. I get that. And look, it's a solid idea for a downtown Disney expansion. It really is. It brings in something that I mean, I wouldn't add it to Disney Springs because you have the living seas, and that's probably one of the most famous aquariums in the world. But I'd certainly like if downtown Disney at Disneyland were to get an aquarium, Pie. I got to tell you that's something I'd plan a half day around. I'd be stoked for that. I don't know where they would put it given the limited space at Disneyland, but but still, it's an aquarium. It's an aquarium. And I'm sorry for some reason my computer's deciding like, hey, we're not going to scroll down.
It is really funny to me that you apologized to Space, because I don't think he had any involvement in this section at all.
I'm sorry. I thought I must have misheard you. I thought that you specifically mentioned that maybe it's the fact that Space posted all this, and I'm sort of just getting that confused. But
yeah,
I mentioned that Space in particular did the Marine Life Institute. I'm sorry.
No, that was Pergron did the Marine Life Institute.
Oh,
and
okay, Pergron.
It was
so I know you're watching live, and I just like I said, it's not bad. It's not bad. It's all good stuff. It's just you need to edit it down, man. It's just a little too much for. Here's the thing: if the aquarium would have been the main project, right? If the project would have been like add an attraction to a Disney Springs or something like that, an aquarium is a perfect attraction to add to a Disney Springs. But again, I know I keep hammering this home, but it sort of just boils down to editing. It really does. And I feel like we're discovering this more and more as we do this kind of autopsy.
Yes, which is something Pergron himself has said, looking back, that he went a bit too much with it. It was a real... Pergron's even saying, yeah, it was way too long. I agree. Passion project turned to hashtag YOLO. Oops. But it was something he was really excited about because he has a lot of experience himself walking in this type of environment. So he was able to do a lot. I don't know how much fully comes through with the trip report style, but there was even like measurements of tank sizes and how big they would have to be realistic for the fish. But it just, with the whole project come together, it didn't quite fit. And the boardwalk itself, that one actually was the area I was the most directly doing. And there was an idea earlier to do as the whole theme, or part of the whole theme of, what if we did Pixar Pier right? That never really went anywhere. This kind of came from we were going to have an area themed to Pixar for one of the districts for helping divide things up. And it was right along the water and a long straight line. So I just thought, I just make it a boardwalk. Easy theme to make it seem distinct, but still not clash too much from the city-like area nearby. But that definitely was something that, looking back, we got complaints about it being too similar to Pixar Pier. And definitely something where I could have done something more original instead of doing something so similar to Pixar Pier.
I mean, if it wasn't Pixar, it would have been fine. That's the thing. If it would have been more of like a Victorian boardwalk, like I know that theme's been done before, but there's ways to expand on it. I did visit Disney's boardwalk, and like that's a nice area, but I got to admit it was a little smaller than I was expecting it to be.
Yeah, it's not like a full district over there. It's just like a little plus for the hotel.
Yeah, that it kind of threw me. I mean, don't get me wrong, I love it. Like there's definitely areas of the boardwalk I want to explore. I had like one of my best times in the whole trip I took was getting hammered at the Abracadabra before the Christmas party for like 2 hours.
Yeah.
Having some really fun conversations with the bartenders, one of which was this fiery Scottish chick, and one of which was a former GameStop employee. So we, I really got. I was like, oh, did you have to push the subscriptions? Did you have to push the subscriptions?
Nice. Well, I hope you're at least left with a pre-order of a drink for the next time you come. You get the lime as a free DLC bonus if you pre-order.
You know what? If Abracadabra offered gold cards, I would totally be a gold card member of Abracadabra. I wouldn't, because I'd only go to Abracadabra maybe once every other trip, but I digress.
Yeah.
But you know what? A Disney alcohol gold card. Get on it, Disney. Get on it.
With how many people drink very often at Epcot alone, they could probably make a lot of money from that.
I mean, that's what I'm saying, Pi. Just like an all-inclusive Disney alcohol wristband.
There you go.
Excited just thinking about it. Just thinking of all the inebriated things I could do while I'm thinking that I'm keeping my alcohol under control, but in reality, I probably look like a jackass. I'm getting excited just thinking about that.
Would be hilarious. There's already enough people puking in the bushes of the France Pavilion, though, so maybe it's not the best idea.
You know what would be legitimately funny? Remember I told you I did the drinking around the world. Well, this wouldn't be legitimately funny. I would kind of cringe if this was true, but it'd be like kind of like cringe funny. Remember I did the drinking around the world, and then I had like 20 minutes left. So I'm gonna get an intervention spot right on the center of the goddamn lake. Lagoon or whatever it is. And I did it, Pi. And I did it. And I sat there, and it was freaking magical, man. It was magical. And I was so
nice.
But wouldn't it be funny if I totally took someone's spot? Like I was
a little bit.
I didn't realize that there was like a blanket there or something, or that someone like got up for a second to throw some trash away and I just swooped in or something like that. Because I was gone at that point, man. I was gone. Like I thought I was fine, but no, I was not fine. Let me just say there's something that happened when I got back to the hotel that night that I will never discuss on air. I'll say that much. I'll leave it at that. I was not fine. Anyways.
Nice.
Oh, it was not a nice story, Pi. It was a total like, oh, Jesus Christ. Yeah, that happened on a Disney trip. Anyway. Oh boy. Fun times. Anyways, so Pi, I realize we're running pretty low on time. Do you have any final thoughts about this project?
Just what's been said, that it could have been a really great project that has some great moments, but just very chaotic and scattered as a team, leading to a very chaotic and scattered project.
And that's how I feel about this podcast right now, Pi. It's got some great moments in it, but overall, it's chaotic and scattered.
Yeah. I mean,
I'm not,
there was the what I'm here in the hut or whatever it was that you opened this with. So definitely some highlights.
It's Jabba the Hutt.
Oh, it's Jabba the Hutt. Yes. But onward to what I'm going to pronounce wrong intentionally, so I don't embarrass myself by pronouncing it wrong accidentally. Tokugawa Village. This one I had to do some research on because the different sections of it are themed to different seasons. And as someone who grew up in southern Florida, seasons are kind of a foreign concept. Like I read, the different areas are themed to season. I'm like, so hurricane season versus thunderstorm season? But once I understood what winter was, the project really came together.
I mean, in California, the seasons are basically like winter. Oh, it's raining slightly more than usual, and it's like 10 or 20 degrees colder outside. Spring.
Yeah, so you understand.
Yeah, spring. Oh, it's super nice out. Summer. Oh, it's super nice out. Autumn. Oh, it's super nice out, but the leaves are brown. First world problems.
Yeah. But yeah, so everything from the site to the presentation to the way it's written, it's all very well done and very professional. It can lead to parts of it being a bit unexciting, but it still is just so well done that I don't mind parts of it being a bit unexciting. I mean, and honestly, most of the only problems I have is like nitpicky type stuff.
You know what's funny, Pi? I honestly don't think any of this is unexciting, but I say that simply because I feel like this project has a mastery of making unexciting stuff exciting. So
it does a very good job with that.
There's unexciting stuff, but to me, it's the fact that this isn't something flashy. It's the fact that this doesn't feel like a theme park land. It specifically feels like a shopping district catered to a Japanese audience, which is exactly what the goal of the project should be.
Yes.
I mean, yeah, it's super good.
And Pergran, just real quick, described the 4 seasons where he is up in Maine, which is winter, still winter, almost winter, and road walk. Okay. So we don't have a lot of experience with seasons on the podcast at the moment.
Apparently.
But they did a very good job integrating them into the themes here. And like you said, they make ideals that might seem somewhat basic or not as exciting come alive.
To me, it's basically just like essentially a larger version of the Japan Pavilion. And I absolutely do not say that in a bad way, because the Japan Pavilion is my favorite pavilion in the World Showcase, believe it or not.
It's pretty amazing.
A lot of that has to do with Teppen Edo, but a lot of it also has to do with the fact that, like, also I love Mitsukoshi. I love the little sake bar at the back of Michikose. I love all the little hidden areas and that one waterfall, and it's just I love that. I love that area. So good.
Oh yeah. I don't know if I would say it's my favorite pavilion, but it's definitely in the top 3.
What would you say is your favorite?
I've always really loved the Canada Pavilion. And,
really?
Morocco.
Canada? What?
It has like a full-size waterfall, and it has layers.
Full-size waterfall go to knots. You were just in Southern California.
That's the other side of the country, though. I'm just saying, I always thought the Canada Pavilion was pretty beautiful, and it has the flavored popcorn stand.
Mystery Lodge at Knott's is literally like exactly like the Canada Pavilion, except the attraction inside is amazing and not just a corny Martin Short circle vision. I'm sorry, Pi. I'm gonna grill you on this, my friend.
Fair enough. But we'll
All
save
Canada
that for
has,
another podcast.
all Canada. No, I'm saving it for this podcast. All Canada has
Okay.
is a cheesy as hell circle vision film that's by far the worst of the three in the park. I'm sorry, it's just true. It also has a really overpriced steakhouse, and it has some popcorn. Its claim to fame is popcorn. Literally, the most exciting thing about the Canada Pavilion is the popcorn.
See, but I don't usually actually eat at the restaurants in the World Showcase. I usually just walk around them, and that has the nice layers to walk up and down, which you don't get often in Florida. It's got the nice gardens. It got various types of architecture blended together. It's got the waterfall. While it might be not the best circle vision movie, it does have an attraction in it. I've always liked those elements and thought that it adds to the whole experience.
Well, you sound like you have some passion for what you're talking about, Pi, so I'll just respect your argument.
But I can definitely understand why it's not for everyone, especially if you come from an area that has better fake waterfalls or real waterfalls, or the ability to walk up and down a hill isn't a novelty like it is in Florida.
Yeah, and also just I happen to be lucky and live in sort of a weird mecca of good food in Petaluma. Like Petaluma's weirdly in the last 5 years or so transformed itself into, hey, foodies, come here, hotspot in the Bay Area, Petaluma. I'm like, oh shit, I'm living right in the middle of this, and I have disposable income. So having said that, having said that, I want a little bit more for my Epcot dining than just popcorn or ridiculously overpriced $60 steaks. So, yeah.
I usually just do snacks in the World Showcase, especially if you have the refill bucket. Being able to get the really yummy maple popcorn for only $1.50 is a very nice snack to start your day with.
You know what kind of snacks I like at the World Showcase, Pi?
What?
Like exotic snacks that you can't get if you're not in the World Showcase or said country.
That is a fair point. But to be fair, I've never seen maple popcorn somewhere else. It's the only place on property, at least, you can get it. But we are way off topic. So
grocery store in California.
They might have it here too. I haven't actually checked.
I mean, it's not fresh, but it's not going to be as good as the Canada popcorn for sure. But it's in a bag, and usually when you get it, it's like stale as hell, and you're just like, oh, why did I spend $4 on this? But it exists.
Fair enough.
All right, I'm just going to take a stab and say that the title of this is Takagawa. That's what we're going to go with. Takagawa.
That sounds good.
Right.
I really like the location of it. I also have no earthly idea the realism of that location.
I really don't either. I can't.
I'm just kind of taking the award for it, that what they're doing is a possible thing that makes sense. Feels like they could have picked a smarter location than they did. But I think it's a really interesting place they chose, at least.
Again, location is not my strong suit when it comes to judging these types of projects. Like Disneyland or Knott's, or dare I say the off chance that we ever do Discovery Kingdom projects. I know there's been one or two, but Discovery Kingdom is a park where I can just literally just like every inch of that place. I'm like, this exactly could fit right here too.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, it's a very good intro that they have worked out here. And I like the disclaimer at the bottom of every page. about the similarities to other parks being purely coincidental, or any theme parks living or dead, which that made me laugh. There's a lot of little touches like that that help it come to life.
All right. So just honestly, Pi, I think this is something that you and I can both agree with. Gardens in Disney parks are literally never a bad thing.
No, any garden's gonna be amazing.
I literally cannot think of any garden in any Disney park where I'm just like, oh, take that out. That doesn't need to be there. You could put a popcorn stand in it. You could put Canada popcorn in that garden.
But yeah, garden areas, very nice. And they make good use of the old Xpiari, or however that should be pronounced if you're not extremely white and bad at pronouncing things in general.
Oh, man. All right. Okay, so this is actually my favorite part of the project, believe it or not, the Takagawa Castle. And what I liked about it...
It's amazing.
Yeah. What I like about it is that it's basically, again, it's sort of the Japan Pavilion on steroids.
Yeah, they did a really great job with it, with a great selection of things to draw you in without it feeling unrealistic. Like, maybe having the museum be a free thing might be a bit stretching the bounds of what a shopping center would do, but also not to the point where it felt like it ruined anything. It just was like really well done and fully thought out.
Yeah, what I really like about it is the whole fact that, you know, much like in Epcot, you've got that palace that sort of wraps its way around the whole pavilion. And this sort of, you know, it kind of takes on a similar theme here.
Yeah. It's very well done and smartly laid out. I want to say one of the reviews mentioned that this was mostly written by James G., who is a newer player, but came from like a different forum, so he might be newer, but he's not really inexperienced. If so, it shows here that this is clearly from someone who knows what they're doing.
Oh yeah, for sure. I'm sorry, another tangent because I can't resist. Have you ever been to Tapanito?
What is that? The restaurant upstairs in the Japan Pavilion?
It's one of two. Yes, there's two restaurants in the same building, and it's really weird and awkwardly laid out. But yes, Tapanito is the one where it's like the hibachi experience.
Okay, I haven't been to that one. I've been to the one that's more like the regular restaurant and it's a bit cheaper. I got ramen there and it's really delicious.
Anyways. All right. Sorry, Pi, I'm just kind of looking at the time here. We don't have a ton of time left here if we want to stick to our hour and a half. You want to stick to our hour.
I love the castle. They did a great job with it. My one complaint with the castle isn't really the castle itself, but with the mini golf is how it was supposed to like wrap around the moat of the castle. And while I love the idea of mini golf being a part of the Springs type area, I think that's a really great fit. I don't think that's a great location and will take away from some of the atmosphere of the castle.
Interesting. You see, Pi, I am actually a mini golf connoisseur, my friend. I love me some mini golf.
Oh, I do too. I'm with you.
Well, here's the thing, though. I love the aesthetic of mini golf. And I'm just a big fan of the way that they're laid out with like the fountains and the pristine trees and everything. And at least the good mini golf courses, you know what I mean?
Yes.
Like I've been to Scandias where the mini golf courses are really, really nice and well maintained. And then I've been to Scandias where it's just like, oh God, this literally feels like we're playing mini golf in a back alley parking lot.
Yeah, no, a good mini golf course though is a very nice thing. And very nice visually. I just feel like it's very nice visuals, but doesn't blend with the castle
I
atmosphere.
feel like it would, though. I feel like it would. You know why? Because maybe it's just the fact that I grew up with a Scandia pie. Honest to God, that might be it. Because I grew up like going to Scandia maybe 3 times a week because it was right around the corner from my house. But the whole like I am just like the whole idea of like a castle themed mini golf course is just so ingrained in my brain from such a young age that I just think of the how Disney could do it where it literally wraps itself around a giant castle, like a full-blown, full-scale castle.
Oh, it
And
would be
I
great for the mini golf. I was thinking it would be bad for the castle. For the mini golf, it would make it amazing going around.
I don't necessarily think it'd be bad for the castle because I feel like it would give the castle a distinct surrounding.
Yeah, fair enough. I can see where you're coming from, even if I don't fully agree.
All right. Have you ever been to a Scandia?
I haven't. I don't know what that is exactly.
It's just a family fun center themed to castles and medieval shit.
See, I've done a lot of. There's like a pirate themed mini golf that's not too far from my house, and a blacklight one, both about a half hour away. But most of my mini golf experience is the Disney ones and all the ones they have in Orlando, like every 5 feet.
I'm going to tell you, Pi, just kind of tracking that road trip that you and I are going to take. The Disneyland, not Magic Mountain, Santa Cruz Beach Boardwalk road trip.
Yeah.
Santa Cruz Beach Boardwalk has by far, in my humble opinion, like the best themed mini golf in the world.
Good to know.
It's all themed around pirates, and I honestly don't even want to spoil anything for you, even though, granted, I know this trip is like years in the making. I'm not a fool, but we're gonna make it happen, though, my friend. I'm committed to it.
Sounds good. Can't wait to check it out.
But yeah, I mean, it's just like there's so much going on. There's like full scale pirate animatronics and like a full scale pirate ship that you go on and caves and ghosts, and it's just it's amazing.
That sounds pretty impressive.
Back and forth in each other.
That sounds fantastic.
All right. Anyways, okay. So let's get into the four seasons, and I really like this idea. I dig it, and I think it's
really good.
Yeah.
And also, hello, Twilight Zone, if I'm not mistaken on the username. Welcome. Better late than never, like he says.
You're a little late to the party, but yeah, we're still here. We're still on for another 8 minutes. I am committed to wrapping the Pi, you know me, like I'm trying to be as professional as humanly possible with these podcasts this season. So I'm just like, all right, hour and a half, done. Like we're gonna go on there exactly at 11. We're gonna end exactly at 12:30. No questions asked. It's gotta look perfect, Pi.
Let's do it. But yeah, I really love this winter area. I'm concerned that it would have to be too cold in there to fit with the rest of the environment. Like it almost would have worked better if the actual ice and rink and all, while it looks great in the center, was just in like one building. So you could, if you're going, bring a coat.
I mean, maybe
this was the second Twilight Zone.
Maybe it's just because I'm not a sports guy and like skating just really isn't my thing. I'm one of those people like think Pi. I just want you to picture in your mind's eye the most cliche scene of like, a guy and a girl going on the first date, and the girl wants to go ice skating, and then cut to the guy just like, whoa, I can't, like just the most over the top poor ice skating you've ever seen. And that's me on ice skates, man. It's just not happening. It's never happening.
I mean, I'm about the same on ice skating. And a real quick correction from Twilight Zone. She saw it wrong, and summer is actually the section she did. And Pogron is saying that as someone from Maine, LL Bean is an amazing touch that should have given them the win just for that.
All right. My brother's saying hi. Okay.
Hello.
So yeah, my point being is that like I really just an ice skating rink is just it's not my draw, but who knows? I mean, like
I
on
think it would be popular. I think people would like it, but it's not something I personally am interested in either.
yeah, and honestly, that's like a big part of the reason why I'm just like really the NBA experience. Don't get me wrong. Hold on, I just want to emphasize here. Basketball is like the one sport where I'm just like, okay, you know what? Like I can get behind it. You know why? Because of the goddamn Warriors. Steph Curry is a fucking icon. All right, like I love me some Steph Curry, but and I'm sorry, I'm really proud of our Warriors, man. That's like a thing
Understandable.
in the Bay Area. Um, but still, I like basketball. I follow basketball more than most sports, which is still not much. Um, I never want to play basketball. I don't like the aesthetics of basketball all that much. The whole idea of like a basketball court just brings me back to high school gym. So I don't want to do the NBA experience.
That's fair. And I feel like the NBA experience, I'm sure it will be really good. It's not something I'm personally interested in. And a lot of this winter area is something that seems fantastic. But as someone who hates when it's below 75 degrees out, it's not an area I personally would spend a lot of time in.
Right.
But it is
Like
very well done, if perhaps a bit rough how cold it would have to be.
unless the NBA experience is literally like great moments with Steph Curry, and it's like a Steph Curry animatronic talking about his achievements and how freaking awesome he is. I would watch that, but I wouldn't really watch anything else.
That would be pretty exciting.
All right. Okay, so spring is my favorite here.
I was thinking the same thing, that spring is probably my favorite area too.
Yeah,
It
I really love all the cherry blossoms everywhere, the artificial cherry blossoms, all the gardens, all the pathways. I really like how well designed this is. The layout of the west is really pleasing to the eye.
Yes, it was really well done and well thought out. There is the minor problem that I didn't notice myself till the reviews pointed out, where the map for winter had everything labeled, but the map for here had and all the other stores have nothing labeled. And I didn't even notice
Uh-huh.
that myself till I saw it was pointed out. But this area just sounds the most beautiful and has the most shops and things I personally would be interested in. So this one's big win for me.
Yeah, and I gotta say, I'm really into the idea of Disney Quest just keeping the brand of Disney Quest, but making it a traditional arcade. Like, yes, please.
Yes.
Because retro gaming is so big right now.
Yeah, I think that was a
Okay.
smart idea.
All right, Dragon Pie, Kua Anai, I nah, whatever. Hawaiian style sandwiches. Yes, please. Yes, just give it to me. Just give it to me right now. All right.
Oh,
All right.
and
We'll
Pilgrim was
do this
joking that
marathon
the
style right now.
Lego store was foreshadowing for the next round, being in Legoland. Yeah, it's a fun idea. But yeah, this place seems delicious. It's got a lot of great shops to it. A lot of great atmospheric type things, like the bookshop, which I'm sure will be mostly atmospheric than an actual popular store. Love the spring section.
All
Summer
right.
was a close second, in my opinion, though. I think he did a good job with this one, Twilight Zone.
Yeah, summer was good. You know what? You know what I like about summer is that it is kind of like the most realistic of these areas where it's like, yeah, if you're gonna do a downtown, you're gonna have your Benihanas, you're gonna have your Disney stores. You know what I mean?
Yes. And I think that the idea of focusing the Disney store more around Stitch was a very clever one and helps make it feel more unique.
Mhm.
Because there's like 8 Disney stores at this point, so something that stands out.
Yeah.
Just
Um,
on Disney property Disney stores, I mean.
I got to admit, the shaved ice in Japan is something I really wanted to try, but never could find the right time to.
I've heard it's good.
I'm sure it is. Anything else to say about summer?
Nothing else really to say since I know we're trying to wrap up. I just love the festival type area, and Twilight Zone is right. Japan does still love Stitch to the point where even stateside we have Japanese people buying up a bunch of Stitch merchandise so they can
Right,
take it back
right.
home and sell it.
Well, you know what, Pi? I am with the Japanese.
Stitch is
And look
pretty
at that.
great.
Hour point, and we have a long section to go, so let's just not worry about it. All right, let's just I don't want to just end just for the sake. All right, folks, we have something that someone worked really hard on, but you know what? We spent too much time going on side tangents, so sorry. No, I'm not going to do that. We can spend a few extra minutes here.
Exactly. This is probably the area I have the least to say about, though, so it works out.
To me, I really like this because it's yeah, it's not traditional, but what I like this is that it is unabashedly Japanese.
Yes. It's very well done, and I love the sounds of it and how the look would be. And we have a Pilgrim actually wasn't a fan of the shaved ice, so perhaps maybe it works out that you didn't get a chance to try it.
You know, I think it depends on the flavor. I really do. I like, for example, I'm a really big blue raspberry guy, and there's very, very, very few things in life that are blue raspberry flavored or just blue in general that I'm going to say no to. And so, you know, it's like if I got the shaved ice that was like red and kind of doughy looking, then yeah, I don't think I'd like it. But just basically a blue snow cone, just give it to me.
Fair enough.
I don't know. I'm one of those. Pi, do you remember being a kid at all? And like, okay, you know what's funny? I distinctly remember Fruit Loops at a certain point in time. Again, here we go on the tangents. I'm sorry. This is just what happens when you and I get together.
It's okay.
Fruit Loops had a promotion where they made all blue Fruit Loops. And
You must have been in heaven.
You know what, Pi? Honest to God, I haven't had Fruit Loops in years, my friend. Probably over a decade since I've sat down and genuinely had a bowl of Fruit Loops, right? Easily over 10 years. Easily since I've been in high school. But the thing is, if they announced, hey, we're gonna do all blue Fruit Loops, Pi, honest to God, I'd run out to the grocery store the next day and be like, 2, please.
Understandable. And we have a bit more from Pergran, who is saying that blue raspberry was the best, but still not great. Definitely better than the strawberry, though.
Yeah, that's the thing. I've never been a big strawberry guy. I like strawberries, the fruit, but I
yes.
like strawberry flavor. I've never been into.
I love strawberries, but strawberry flavored, never been a big fan. They're one of my favorite fruits to eat, but
I mean, same with oranges. Or oranges and strawberries might be my 2 favorite fruits, but my 2 least favorite fruit flavors. Isn't it weird how it worked like that?
See, orange just, in my opinion, doesn't lend itself to dessert things, which is why it doesn't lend itself to a lot of flavorings. But we are, again, very off topic here.
This is exactly why people tune into us, is these stimulating conversations. I mean, come out.
That was always one of my favorite parts too. So let us know in the comments your opinions on strawberry flavored and orange flavored things. What fruit makes the best flavoring despite the fruit not being good, or the fruit being good but the worst flavoring?
Grapes.
No, grapes are good flavor or fruit. They're just all around the best.
That's what I'm saying. That's why it's the correct answer.
Oh, yeah.
Right. I've been drinking my fair share of Arizona Grapeade recently.
Nice.
Have you ever had a Krispy Kreme pie?
A Krispy Kreme donut?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, they're all over the place here. Oh, and Pergran come in with a controversial opinion of not liking grape-flavored things. but that's okay. You're a good Imagineer. It's okay if you have terrible taste buds. I can forgive you for that one. Grape juice, grape candies, all the best.
Great flavor Jolly Ranchers.
Oh, the best flavor of Jolly Rancher.
Oh, man.
And Twilight Zone got excited because when you said, have you ever had a Krispy Kreme? Then you said my name, Pie. They thought they were making pies now instead of just donuts.
I know, it is a pun just waiting to happen.
There's another pun we can make there that we're not going to on this stream. But yeah, the donuts, they are very delicious. Some of the best.
The Krispy Kreme pies could honestly work out incredibly well.
I think it would.
I mean, could you imagine that sort of like flaky glaze on a pie crust?
Oh, it would be fantastic if they did it right.
All right. And we're going to end strong, Pie. We're going to end strong. We're going to end on one of the most creative things I've ever seen in an armchair Imagineering project. You ready for it? You ready for it? You ready to have your mind
Bring
blown?
it on. Bring it on.
Earl of Sandwich? What?
In a Disney Springs or downtown Disney type area?
Insanity.
Revolutionary stuff. It's one of those things you just kind of have to have. But it's about as original as saying there's a castle in the Magic Kingdom.
Okay, Pie, believe it or not, I actually have a beef with Earl of Sandwich.
What's
yeah,
your
Trevor?
beef?
Trevor, you tell him about. Woo! Fuck Earl of Sandwich.
There you go, Trevor.
You know what my beef with Earl of Sandwich is?
What?
It replaced Earl of Sandwich in Downland.
I'm sorry about that. If it makes you feel better, as much as Earl of Sandwich is like the thing, Blaze Pizza and Chicken Guy are both better for low-priced food options in Disney Springs. So, it's already been dethroned.
I'm a big French dip guy. Like, French dip is my favorite sandwich. And I could see the writing on the wall with this place, all right? I could see the writing on the wall. Because I get my French dip from, like, this hole-in-the-wall, like, Denny-style diner in Petaluma, right? And they know how to make a French dip. And Earl of Sandwich, it's literally, like, it's mass-produced. You know what I mean? It's like a fucking...
Yeah, it's not going to live up to it.
Almost version of a French dip, man. It's like 2 steps away from being Arby's.
It's a good way to describe Earl of Sandwich. Not bad, but 2 steps away from Arby's. And Perveron's agreeing with me that Chicken Guy is the greatest thing added to Disney since Walt himself built Disneyland in 1955. Both delicious food, and there's a selfie wall with a cutout of Guy Fieri. So if the food's not enough to get you to go there, that is.
Oh boy. Okay, Guy Fieri. Let's get... Pi, I feel like we're on a rap here. All right? I feel like we're on a rap because I also have a useless side tangent about Guy Fieri, all right? Oh boy.
All right. Let's end on the Guy Fieri.
Yeah, let's end on Guy Fieri. We're going to end strong. We're going to end strong here. So Guy Fieri, believe it or not, Pi, the dude owned a restaurant a couple towns away from me before he ever got famous.
Wow.
And it was called Johnny Garlic's, and his big claim to fame was his garlic fries.
That does sound delicious. I like garlic and I like French fries.
And so Pi, Petaluma, because we're a hick town and we pride ourselves on our dairy products, right? We have this little event in town that just gets bigger and bigger every year called the Butter and Eggs Day Parade. And Pi, I kid you the hell not, I vividly remember mother effing Guy Fieri, the spiky tip blonde haired guy, shilling his garlic fries out of a stand on the Butter and Eggs Day, like years before the Food Network.
Wow.
I
That's pretty fantastic.
Yeah. And so when you mentioned the selfie wall, my grandma actually got a picture with that selfie wall when I went to Disney World with her.
Nice.
She was genuinely excited about it. She was like, "Oh, I've met that guy. He sold me garlic fries."
Nice. That's a really sweet story.
All right, I think it's funny more than anything else, but all
Really
right.
funny, sweet. And the program says he also had a connection to Guy Fieri, where he once FaceTimed him when his friend met him at a concert.
Really? Nice. Oh, man. Guy Fieri, man, God bless him. God bless him. He got us to the end point in the podcast.
There we go.
All right.
Y'all have a good night, everyone, I think, right?
Yep. Just remember, just look out for Jabba the Hutt, because for some reason Jabba the Hutt is the first thing that came to mind when I started the broadcast. That's very important. What Jabba the Hutt? Signing out.